Today we're going to take a look at the new Thermador 905 series refrigerator. So these typically start with letter T and the model number for, well, Thermador, and then the width of the unit. So this is a T30 and it is installed next to a T18, which is the number of inches on the width. And I think your next letter is I for integrated, because these are designed to integrate into cabinetry, and then whether or not it's a freezer or a refrigerator. So in this case, this is a T30IR, and then the next three letters, I think in the past were 900s, and now they are 905s. Now the 900s had a white interior, that was like a white aluminum or plastic and aluminum. The new 905 series, you'll notice, is predominantly stainless steel. You're still going to see some of the white plastics around the frame of the unit. Of course, those door gaskets are still white as well, but on the door itself, you've got a stainless steel panel, and then on the inside walls, you've got stainless steel, which is really nice. And then at the top, this used to be a white enamel cover for what I believe is an evaporator. It's now stainless steel. So not a lot of changes in this new series, but overall pretty handsome. And in the freezer, here we are again. Still a lot of white around the frame on the dispenser. This is optional, so you could do a T18, I think it's a ID or an IF. I'm gonna say the D for a dispenser, F for just traditional freezer. That would still have an internal ice maker. They make the dispenser in both an 18-inch wide unit and a 24-inch wide unit. The non-dispensers are available in 18, 24, 30, and 36-inch widths. There again, you got the same stainless steel interior, the cover for the evaporator or whatever that is, and then you've got this this new touchscreen that came with this 9 series product. And I think if I touch it, it doesn't do anything. So your sensors, I want to say, are on the right and left. So in this case, if I want to edit the temperature, I can go in here and adjust that. Interesting. Now if I hit super cool, that will typically drop the temperature a couple degrees for chilling things quickly. Like if you're going to run to the grocery store, you might turn super cool on before you leave. What else do we have here? The low temperature is all the way down at 36, which is pretty impressive. Typically they don't go down below 38. I'm gonna let that just return, or I can hit confirm. In the settings menu, you've got, let's see, clean lock. Now, if we select this, it'll probably go ahead and lock the controls for us so that we can wipe this down without activating things accidentally. We've also got eco mode, which I believe raises the temperature a little bit in the refrigerator to use less energy. Self-test apparently is a diagnostics system, so you can have it run onboard diagnostics, which is pretty cool. And what else? Appliance settings. Let's hit confirm. We can adjust the brightness. Let's go back and play with that for a second. That's the display here is getting brighter. Let me hit confirm. Key press sounds on and off, we'll leave them on. The key volume can be adjusted. The signal tone volume. Now this might be if the refrigerator door is left open. We'll find out. It also seems to make that confirmation noise go louder. Automatic clean lock off. Now this might shut off the display. I read about it in the use and care manual, now I forget. Auto door opening. Now, both of these units, let's say you're doing European modern kitchens without any hardware on them, which we didn't do, but to give you an example of what that might look like, this is an example of a push to open mechanism on on these cabinets, right? So if we were going to integrate our appliances in this style of cabinetry, it'd be a little weird to have handles on the refrigerator. So all of these units have this push to open feature. Basically that opens the door for a few seconds. I've got a little bit of a lip here on the panel that I can grab and then open, and that would allow me to do this without any hardware. They also offer stainless steel accessory door panels. You can get those with handles that match the rest of the Thermador equipment in either the Professional series or the Masterpiece series. Or you can get panels with no holes if you want to, again, have that more modern look, not have handles. Could be a clearance issue that you might have, but that is available and works with that touch to open feature. Go back, we'll finish our settings review here. Let's see, brightness, key press, key volume, signal tone, automatic, clean lock off, auto door opening, push to open off. Theater mode, what that does is it will basically make it so that these lights slowly turn on when we open and close the doors. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, so that just didn't come on, you know, bright. It just slowly lit up, which I kind of like that effect. So I'm going to say we should leave that on. One of the other settings is going to have to do with the you see that little camera icon? That means that this unit is in a demo mode. So if you bought a display version of one of these things and it's not getting cold on the inside, it's probably either not plugged in, but we'll assume you plugged it in, or it's in a demonstration mode. So if we go to settings, again, we'll go back, confirm. We've got Sabbath mode, doesn't work during the demo mode, and of course there's the demo mode. So in the demo mode, which is what I've got it in here for the display in the showroom, it's not going to get cold. And if you've bought a new unit and it's not getting cold and you see that little icon, that's probably in a showroom demonstration mode. You want to take it out of that so you can keep things cold. So yeah, the shelving system has not changed. They did seem to get rid of those cool little, they had like little produce bins on the doors, which some people really liked and some people really disliked. Looks like they have gone away, which I kind of like those little storage bins, but whatever. I'm sure they were expensive. They were pretty heavy duty. Just like the Miele, we've got a very simplistic adjustment back here for the crisper to have more or less, I guess, moisture stored inside. Looks like we've still got some stuff, packing materials back here. Take these out. Did put these units together and put the panels on and installed it in this opening. It's actually a lot of fun. There's a ton of adjustment on these units. That's what they look like. Now, in some of these columns, you'll notice that the bins are not nearly as deep as these Thermador, Miele, and Gaggenau units, and that's because of that big thing there. So some people are like, why do they have all of this hanging down? Well, that's hiding your, like I said, that's either an evaporator or a condenser that in some cases will actually go behind the drawer, and these drawers would be a lot smaller. So one of the advantages of the Thermador is that you have a lot more storage in these drawers. Disadvantage is that you can't, well, put things quite as tall. So if you look at a Gen Air or a GE monogram with the opposite configuration, they'll look a little bit different. They all seem to use these big heavy duty hinges. Push to open, I believe, is not available on Gen Air. It's not available on GE. It was an accessory option that ended up being problematic with Sub-Zero. So Sub-Zero has discontinued the availability of the accessory. So if you like that push to open feature, that is something that you can only get from Miele and Bosch Thermador built column refrigeration units. And it's kind of a neat feature, but you know, most people are going to have a handle to pull on. The dispenser, nothing fancy there. You've got crushed ice, which you can't get in a Sub-Zero. You've got cubed ice, which pretty much everybody does. You've got a lock feature. You've got a water feature. You've got a nice little reservoir here for collecting water with a stainless steel plate. This will probably get scratched up, unfortunately, because, well, stainless scratches. You do want to be careful with the interior. They do suggest, like all stainless steel, you clean it with the grain. I suspect that these walls will get scratched up fairly easily if you pack your refrigerator with a lot of stuff. Expect it to get a nice patina, you know, with like all things that are stainless as they age. They still seem to have those vents in the doors, top and the bottom. I believe they run air through there to keep the door column cold. You can see there are vents here, which probably allow a curtain of air to come down and hit those drawers. These vents down here, that's where your compressor is for these units. You've got cool air coming in on one side and warm air coming out on the other. That's what that little divider is there. So make sure that when your unit's installed that this was not removed, because it is necessary for proper cooling. The other thing you want to make sure that this panel here, so this panel, you know, somebody might say, oh, let's bring it all the way down to the floor. Yeah, you don't want to do that because you want to leave some breathing space for those units. It looks like I did not put the toe plate on there. They do come with stainless steel toe plates that you can put in. I prefer when the cabinet supplier gives us a little bit of wood veneer down here to make that look more built in. What else? There is where your water filter goes. I did take that out just because they tend to walk off. Like most built-in refrigerators, everything has a nice roller bearing, ball bearing, roller bin pull out. These are all adjustable by kind of angling up and bringing back. Now, in shipping, they've added these little guys in here, and I'm guessing that those are left there because they know that that when you take the shelving in and out, that it'll probably scratch up the back wall. So I'm just gonna leave those in there for now. You know, I suspect these things are quiet. They first came out in 2007. I think the partnership with Bosch and Miele, I don't know whenever that was created, but this was, I think the Thermador was the first version of the various units to come out of that factory. So you had Bosch had units at one point. Gaggenau still has units coming out of that factory, which is kind of the higher end version of Thermador, also owned by Bosch. And then you have Miele, which is a separate company that produces out of that factory. Bosch, they've scaled back the number of options. You can get an 18-inch freezer and a 30-inch refrigerator in the Bosch line. They also offer a 30 and 36-inch bottom freezer, which would be similar to these units. Now in Thermador, we can do a 30 and a 36-inch bottom freezer, but we can also do a single door bottom freezer. And I personally prefer the single door bottom freezer because you get a lot more shelving on the single door bottom freezer than you do on the French door. In the Bosch line, you only have a French door option. Miele also gives you an option for both French door and single door and the same sizes. And they pretty much all have the same configuration because they're all in the same units. Previously, Miele did have a really neat, kind of unique crisper system that you could digitally adjust or electronically adjust. It had a like a food specific microclimate that you could keep inside of each one of those bins. Now it's been replaced with this kind of basic little switch here. You can see the Miele versions. The lighting is a little bit different. I can't tell if that's just painted. Yeah, I think that's just painted plastic, or maybe it is metal. I don't know. It does feel like plastic to me, but it has kind of a silver paint. It's a slightly different interior. You can see the control system on this is very similar. So basically they just changed the color and the font, maybe some of the options, which are more Miele specific. You can see that same design for the evaporator or whatever that is. They do have this little bin, which is removable. That's kind of unique. What else do we have in this thing? Oh, these bins. I like how they kind of lift out. So you can adjust those frames, but the insert on the bin is removable still, which is kind of a Miele exclusive feature. And here's just another example of it integrated into cabinetry. That's a 30. Again, here's a 24. Same basic layout, just 24 inches. Typically, there's not a big price difference between those sizes. So, I think if you look at a 30-inch unit and a 24-inch unit, or a 30-inch unit versus a 36-inch unit, on average, it's about a $500 difference in price. So if you have the space to go wider, go wider. Spend that extra $500 or $1,000 to get a larger refrigerator. I think it's worth it. But you can see not a ton of difference between the Miele and the Thermador. Of course, the Thermador is now all stainless steel inside. Personally, I kind of prefer the white from just keeping it clean. I feel like the stainless might become a bit of a problem from a maintenance standpoint if you're really big and keeping things clean and tidy. But yeah, all right. Well, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll see you on the next video. Like always, if you hung out this entire time, thank you so much for watching the entire video. Please hit the like button and subscribe so that I'm incentivized to make more of these videos. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.